Now to an update on a powerful story of transformation and second chances. We first told you about Missouri prison inmate Bobby Bostic back in 2019. He was serving a 241-year sentence for a series of robberies he committed when he was only 16 years old. Bostic is now 43, and he has changed his life in prison. He went to school, he read and wrote books, even though he had no hope of ever getting out. But that has all changed, thanks to an unlikely ally. 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty has been covering Bostic's case for years.
43-year-old Bobby Bostic was making more than a fashion statement when he walked away from a Missouri prison last week in a brand new suit.
The new me, the suits represent the new me, and it's a business suit, and I'm going to go on with the new business of life. So that's what the suit represents.
Bostic's first hug, Evelyn Baker.
God, I'm so happy. Happy too.
The now retired judge who sent Bostic to prison, but spent the last 4 years fighting to get him out.
You were emotional when he walked out towards you.
Yep. He made me cry.
Wasn't trying to.
This day once seemed inconceivable. Bostic was incarcerated in 1995 at age 16 after he and a friend committed a series of armed robberies in St. Louis. One victim was grazed by a bullet.
Did you intend to hurt him? To kill him?
No, if I had intended to hurt or kill him, I'd have kept shooting.
Convinced Bostic was a lost cause, Judge Baker showed no mercy. After he was convicted on 17 counts, the judge ordered his sentences to run consecutively for a total of 241 years. We visited Bostic in prison again 2 weeks before his release.
Were you angry with her?
No, it motivated me to say, one day, if I ever do get out, I will see her, and she'll realize the mistake she made when she see the person I became.
That didn't seem very likely. Bostic wouldn't be eligible for parole until he was 112 years old. Many people would have just given up, but Bostic found drive even when he had nowhere to go.
Once you make so many mistakes, you get tired and you want to do something different. So I started reading. That's how I found myself, in books. And that's the most peace I ever get in the world. It's a natural high, basically.
Bostic obtained an associate's degree and is working now on his bachelor's in business. He wrote poetry and prose, 15 books in all, including a biography of his mother. His stunning turnaround convinced Judge Baker she made a mistake.
241 years is insanity. When I think back on it, and I'll say right now, it's insanity. He was a kid. He was a little boy.
But you're the one who sentenced him, Judge.
Yes, as he evolved, I have evolved.
I mean, is it fair to say that the case of Bobby Bostic has haunted you?
That would be a very true statement.
Judge Baker began advocating for Bostic. In the summer of 2021, the Missouri legislature passed the Bobby Bostic law, which allowed him and other inmates incarcerated as juveniles to apply for parole.
How unusual is that for the trial judge who sentenced an inmate to then appear at the parole hearing asking for his release?
I don't know if it ever happened before, but it was something I wanted to do.
Why?
Because it was time for Bobby to come home and be with his family. He wasn't a kid I sentenced.
And late last year, the parole board gave Bostic a date when he could finally go home.
And then when I see my name on the paper this morning, it said released, Bobby Bostic released. I'm like, it's official.
So you do have a very strange, unique bond.
Yes.
You put him in prison and you helped him get out.
The Bobby Bostic I put in prison. It's not the Bobby Bostic who got out. Bobby did what many people can't do. He created himself. He took the good, the bad, and the ugly, and he turned it into something that's quite beautiful.
You feel good about today?
I'm ecstatic. This is better than Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, Thanksgiving rolled in one.
Oh, my God!
His family thought so, too.
There'll be some people who won't think you and other men who've been convicted as juveniles deserve a second chance. What do you say to them?
Well, some people, they got a right to feel that way, basically, right? It's up to us, the juveniles who get out and get the second chance to do something different, to prove to those people, like, I'm just like you.
Well, clearly, Bostic has a lot to be thankful for this year. And if you're wondering where he'll be spending his first Thanksgiving as a free man, Judge Baker invited him and his family over for dinner tonight.
Wow.
While in prison, Bostic started a nonprofit called Dear Mama, that's what you're looking at here, that aims to help single mothers in need. Earlier this week, they held a food drive and a clothing drive. Bostic bought all the food himself. Since his release, he also performed his poetry at an open mic, passed his driver's license test, and worked. His sister says he's doing well at her cleaning company. I really get the sense that Bobby Bostic is trying to make up for all this lost time. But why this is a perfect Thanksgiving story is because we take so much for granted. And when you lose so much like he did, like just being able to go to bed when you decide, take a shower when you decide. And he's just so, when I talk to him, he's just brimming over with excitement.
And he
Go ahead, Errol.
said reading brings him peace, and it really does seem as if he was able to change himself while serving time, and that was the change maker.
He said a weird thing. You know, you could get marijuana in prison. You shouldn't be able to, but he did. He said it stopped working for him. He couldn't escape, and books gave him what drugs didn't. I was very taken aback by that, that he could escape in books.
What you do, I am thankful for that.
Yeah,
You're getting-
what a great story.
Great story. What
You've
you
been following his story all along.
And
which is-
so many
which is so
people
important.
who, you know, needed a second chance.
Right.
And you've given it to them or
Well,
helped them
these
get
are
there.
great stories and great people, honestly.
All right, Aaron, thanks to you.
Thank you.
Wonderful story.